Larry is out there working in his fields today. Hi, hi, Larry. It looks like a
Hello,
vineyard.
how are you doing
Are you
today?
in a
I'm
vineyard?
in, Temecula Valley wine country.
Beautiful.
But I
Very
need your
nice.
help and advice today
Yes.
on a passion project that I'm working on.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing a documentary, and it's going to be mainly interviews, probably half of them face to face. The other half will probably be on Zoom or some sort of video link. And so I want to find out about video and audio. I did a film a while ago, but all of the technology has changed.
Oh, yeah.
So, the first thing is on the video. I'm just thinking, just go simple, go with my iPhone 14 Pro, and I should be fine, right?
You'd be amazed at the quality you can get out of these camera phones these days. They're better than any camcorder. There is, by the way, no more market for camcorders because people can get such great video, 4K. You may not need to shoot it in 4K depending on where you're going to just, put this. But if you're putting it on YouTube, you might as well shoot it in 4K.
Right. The last one I did was done on a camcorder, and it's 1080p, and it doesn't.
Right.
I mean, it looks okay.
Right.
But
no, it's amazing. People are making movies with these now. If you're Alex Lindsay, you're going to go and get a Black Magic Cinema 5K camera and all that stuff. But I think get a tripod, right?
Yeah.
And there are a variety of clamps designed to hold the phone. Audio, you actually seriously probably could use the audio on the phone, but I would get a lavalier mic, and there are a number of companies that make microphones that are designed to use with the iPhone. They don't necessarily. You want wireless because you don't want to have a wire going out of your phone. So
So I'm looking. I looked at both you guys mentioned the Anchor Work. I looked at that.
Yes.
And I looked at the Rode Go.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty impressed with that system.
Yeah, I don't have one yet. I haven't reviewed it, but I have been very impressed with the Wireless Go.
And
you need one for. I don't know. Are you going to be part of the interview, or sometimes people like Errol Morris, they cut themselves out and they just use the subjects.
I'm planning 99% of the time to be not there.
Yeah,
but okay,
you mix it down as you wish. But the beauty is, if you don't want your voice in it, sit far enough away so that his microphone's not picking you up, and then you'll be able to easily separate the two tracks. Now, the caveat is I haven't played with his. I have used Rode equipment before. They make very good equipment. They're very focused on this kind of prosumer market, and I think that they do a good job. So, yes.
And should I go with Final Cut Pro, or should I go with iMovie?
I think try it in iMovie. The beauty of it is iMovie's much simpler, will probably do everything you want. And if you needed to, you could easily move those projects over to Final Cut. So if at some point you say, I can't do all the things I need to do. So how is it going to be a full-length 2-hour documentary, or what?
I think it's going to end up being about an hour or so. Nice. What this is about is I sort of grew up in the magic world. In 56 years ago, there was a club in Long Beach called the Long Beach Mystics. And that club has produced many, many professional magicians over the years. And I want to do a sort of a documentary where I talk to those folks about, well, why did you get into magic? Why did you stay in magic? And that kind of thing. But these people went through it. And I was going back through some of my material, and I looked at in 1967, I was on, we produced a magic show, and I was on the same bill with Steve Martin.
Wow. Yeah, how cool is that?
So I'm hoping to get people like Steve Martin and Neil Patrick Harris and some other people out of the magic world. And the whole idea here is to inspire young kids to get into magic, because I thought it was really a wonderful way to grow up and stay out of trouble and all those kinds of things. And I'm hoping if this thing generates any income, I'm not here to make money, but if I can find some scholarships of kids to go to magic camp, so to speak.
What a great idea.
Learn about magic and get inspired. So I'm hoping there's, I might do 50 or 60 interviews. and then edit that down. Maybe it'll be less than an hour.
Yeah.
But the one I did for my wife several years ago, I shot 20 hours of film and I used 19 minutes. So editing's the key thing. I think.
Is. It's absolutely the key thing. Send me an email and I'll send it along to Steve if you don't have a way to connect to him. You know better your subjects. I think this sounds like a fantastic project. I love this. And I love it that we can, I had a friend who's a professional documentarian, spends 90% of its time raising money because it's so, in the old days, it was so expensive and, it's just, and then you have to get distribution. Nowadays, you could do this with your iPhone and a cheap microphone and put it on YouTube and have a much larger audience. And there's going to be so much stuff documented that would not have been documented before. So I love this. I'm thrilled that you're going to do it. Larry, you're the guy to do it.
The other issue that I discovered in doing that last movie is lighting is super important.
Oh, yeah. Well, do it out in your vineyard.
Yeah. Well, back in the day when I did it, I would go into a different city. I would go over to a photography studio, rent the lights and so on. I think now I can just use like a portable LED.
Probably can.
Setup, right?
Probably can. I mean, the best is still outdoors. If you can get them to sit outdoors on their patio, or, if they've got a vineyard behind them, that's going to always be the best. But you're right. It's funny. I think people, when they're making video, think that the picture is the most important thing. And it is important, but audio, lighting, those things are very important too. You can't forget that. So I agree with you. You got to consider your lighting. That's right.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get as many of these live as I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to believe it or not, a magic convention in Las Vegas in August. So I'm going to try and set up some times to see people and to do this. But I think it's a great way because many of these magicians ended up being real stars and just did lots of stuff at the Magic Castle.
Sure.
And so it's really more of a, like I said, a passion project.
I love it.
To the people that kind of, because Leo, back in the day, we didn't get in trouble. We didn't do drugs and stuff like that. We were just nerds. Kids.
Yeah. The magic nerds.
And this club, it was really cool because there was no adult supervision.
Wow.
It was just a bunch of teenagers. When I was on this stage with Steve, I was 17. He was 22.
Wow.
And, full auditorium in Long Beach with, 250 people.
I don't know if you stayed in touch, but if you haven't, I'd love to connect you. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I would love it. I just recently went back and looked at his book, the one you mentioned last week.
Such a good book, isn't it?
And
he talks about the early days. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something about doing magic. I think of Johnny Carson, Steve Martin, Orson Welles. These amateur magicians, you have to learn how to command an audience. It's very good training, I think, for a performer.
Well, I ended up in my career working in corporate, doing training gigs and leadership development training and so on. And all of that work that I did as a performer really helped in doing large speeches and facilitating groups and so on. It was great. And I'm hoping that I can inspire a couple of kids who might go off on a little different direction to say, hey, this magic thing is pretty cool.
Let's bring back magic. Do people, there's Chris Angel, some of these hip magicians, I suppose, are inspiring people. But I think a lot of people, Penn and Teller are pretty amazing, but I think a lot of people think about David Copperfield and stuff and say, that's the old hat. That's old fashioned. Let's get some influencers doing magic.
Funny is still funny, right? In other words,
I agree.
I went back and looked at 2 videos that Steve did, and it's posted up on this site. And they're probably shot, again, 50 years ago.
Wow.
They're still funny. They're funny.
Yeah. He was, obviously, he was a great,
he
is a
so
great
I will send you a quick email.
Please do.
And I'll attach that bill from that show.
That would be great, because then I could send that along. Leo@leoville.com.